Right now, the home stretch. With 2 days until Election Day, we're running through some of the biggest issues on your ballot this Tuesday. Plus, you can now enroll in your healthcare marketplace, how a local group is helping to make the process even easier. And the Packers take the national stage for a Sunday night football showdown against one of the toughest teams in the country. Will they get their first road win of the season? We have a preview of the matchup.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good Sunday morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning Sunday, 6:30 on this November 4th. I'm Josh Ryder with meteorologist Chris Reese. Did you enjoy your extra hour of sleep last night?
I sure did. Apparently, I enjoyed it so much I forgot my suit jacket this morning.
But we love the vest.
I have the vest.
You're rocking it.
Always in handy. We've got a lot of rain out there, though. So
might need a rain jacket
that I can't wear on the air is on the radar for us. Here's how things are shaping up. We've got a lot of rain across southwestern Wisconsin, along through Madison, and points to the north up through Columbia County, Portage, Partyville, all getting in on the rain. You go farther up north, they're actually getting in on snow, and not just snow, but accumulating snow. Winter weather advisories for the northern tier of the state where they could see 2 to 4 inches of snow before that all transitions over to rain. So yeah, that time of the year is here, but of course the temperatures are much colder up there. 32 in Stevens Point, 33 degrees in Wausau right now. We're about 12 degrees warmer at 44 compared to Stevens Point. So that warmer air is over the southern half of the state, but this is going to be the look all day, and there's going to be a lot of wind featured in with that as well. Right now, sustained out of the east at 13 miles per hour. We're expecting sustained winds to approach 20 to 30 miles per hour going through today, with wind gusts of 35 to 40 miles per hour. So yay, happy Sunday. Still a good day though, even though the weather's nasty. 42 to 46 throughout the morning. By the afternoon, temperature should top out right around 50 degrees. We'll be staying wet and breezy. Those rain showers won't begin to die down until we get you into the evening hours. So traffic looks like this. A few cars are out. We will have wet roads, so you do want to know to at least take it easy. But other than the stoplights around Stoughton Road and the Beltline, no issues are showing up across Madison this morning.
Extra hour of sleep last night, maybe just stay in bed this morning.
It's just a sleeping day as a whole. It's that day.
But sometimes that's nice, right?
I love those days.
All
So
right.
yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
With just 2 days left until Election Day, the battle over protections for people with pre-existing conditions continues to be a big one here in Wisconsin. Governor Walker is a longtime opponent of the Affordable Care Act, but at a campaign event this week, Walker said he wants to enact the exact same language that's in that federal law to guarantee insurance coverage for people with pre-existing conditions. Evers is telling voters not to believe that because Wisconsin is currently involved in a lawsuit to repeal the Affordable Care Act, an authorization Walker made.
No matter what happens in the courts or in the Congress in Wisconsin, we will codify that. The exact same language that's in the Affordable Care Act. We'll make sure that everyone living with a pre-existing condition is covered here in the state.
People in Wisconsin know this is just a typical politician, Scott Walker, doing and saying one thing and doing completely the opposite.
The federal government has also approved a waiver imposing a work requirement in order to be on Medicaid here in Wisconsin. This is a proposal Walker championed, but Evers says the current governor is diverting attention from the issues that matter, promising to accept the federal Medicaid expansion money that Walker turned down. The Edgerton School District hopes a referendum on this week's ballot will solve issues of overcrowding. The more than $40 million referendum would go towards renovating and expanding the community elementary school, as well as expanding several spaces within the high school. School Superintendent Dr. Dennis Pauly says even though most of the voters in the area don't have children in the schools, this is still an important vote for the community. If approved, the referendum would cost taxpayers about $1 for every $1,000 of property value. There's going to be a referendum for the Beloit-Turner School District on the ballot for the third time. The referendum would expand a portion of the high school used to teach skilled trades and also replace Townville Elementary School over the course of 2.5 years. Last spring, a similar referendum failed by just 3 votes. A main criticism of the referendum is a tax increase. Superintendent Dennis McCarthy says the increase would be around $250 for the average $250,000 homeowner. And we know the election may come down to just how excited voters are as they head to the polls this week. 74% of Republicans say they are very enthusiastic compared to 81% of Democrats. and 58% of independents. 6:35 this morning. Looking ahead, UW-Madison experts are holding a panel discussion and live analysis of the election results this Tuesday. American politics professors David Cannon and Kenneth Mayer, plus associate journalism professor Michael Wagner, will put the numbers into context and talk about potential implications as the results start coming in. It is a nonpartisan setting where people are invited to ask questions about how the election could impact them. That's at the Union South Marquee Cinema starting at 8 o'clock Tuesday night. And if you don't plan on going anywhere Tuesday night, be sure to make News 3 your election night destination for the fastest numbers and best analysis. At 7 p.m. on WISC, CBS News national coverage will begin. Who will control Congress? We'll break in with live local updates all night on WISC. Then at 8 p.m. you can watch continuous, live, local, uninterrupted coverage on our digital platforms, Channel 3000, Facebook, and YouTube. At 9 p.m. our local coverage will be available on Fox 47, and then join us again at 10 p.m. on WISC for election night coverage you can count on to be fast and accurate. For more information on what you need to know before you head to the polls, just go to channel3000.com. There you'll find a News 3 voter guide right there on our homepage. We are expecting to learn more about a deadly hit-and-run crash in western Wisconsin later today. A 21-year-old man is accused of killing 3 Girl Scouts and a woman picking up trash in a ditch in Lake Hallie. That's just south of Chippewa Falls. Officers did not say what caused him to veer off the road and hit the group. Another girl was hit and was in critical condition as of last night. A relative of one of the Girl Scouts who was not hurt during the crash says all of the Scouts were wearing bright safety vests and were with several adults at the time. You can now register to enroll in the healthcare marketplace. The United Way of Dane County is helping people get insured. The United Way counts more than 21,000 people in Dane County who do not have insurance. In an effort to get those people covered, they're again offering their Health Connect program, which helps cover the costs of monthly premium payments. To qualify, people have to have a household income between about $12,000 and $18,000 for single people, and between $25,000 and $37,000 for a family of 4. Open enrollment runs through December 15th for coverage starting with the new year. You can look up plans and prices online at healthcare.gov. New this morning, city leaders will be meeting to talk about a proposal to add on to East High School this week. The district wants to build a 6,000 square foot main entrance to its field house, adding some extra security measures for the school. There's also a second-story proposal that would be put on a second story of that addition. The inside of the section will be built mostly of glass with the goal of modernizing the main entrance to the gym. Because East High is on the historical register, Madison's Landmarks Commission will take up that proposal tomorrow. Also happening tomorrow, there's a conversation planned for veterans to talk about the challenges of returning to civilian life. Wisconsin Public Television is hosting that discussion, talking about their public media campaign called Veterans Coming Home. It's a multi-platform effort to rally community support for veterans and help them share personal stories about overcoming barriers back home. That conversation is happening tomorrow night at 6:30 at the Marquee Theater on the UW campus. Veterans Day is 1 week from today. 6:38 is your time. If you're looking forward to Thanksgiving but not looking forward to all of the cooking that comes with it, UW Dining Services is willing to help you out this month. Starting tomorrow, you can place your orders for Thanksgiving pies and dinner rolls from the UW-Madison Dining and Culinary Services ahead of the holiday. This year, you can choose from apple, pumpkin, and pecan pies ranging from $10 to $12 and a dozen dinner rolls for just under $5. To place an order, you can call the number right there on your screen. That's 608-262-0057. Orders must be placed by November 16th and picked up on the 20th or 21st at the Gordon Dining Center. And a reminder to families looking to get rid of some of that extra Halloween candy. United Point Health is holding several candy drop-off events at their West Washington clinic. They started collecting candy last week, continuing it during business hours tomorrow through Wednesday. The candy collected will be shipped in care packages to soldiers serving overseas. The mortality rate for liver cancer is increasing at a faster rate than any other cancer. The number of deaths each year nearly doubled here in Wisconsin from 1995 to 2015, but survival is possible.
When I'm like in the dugout, I sometimes talk. Like there's like a little window, but it's like open. And then I usually talk with him a lot.
Weird, funny.
It's just like a normal grandpa, but even better.
That's Oliver and Cameron describing their grandfather. Bill Lawton wasn't sure if he'd ever meet his grandkids after being diagnosed with liver cancer. Dr. Sam Loebner was part of Bill's treatment team. He's been working with liver cancer patients for almost a decade now and says the slow-moving nature of the disease is one of the reasons mortality rates continues to rise.
Even in the best of circumstances, you're still left with a diseased liver at the end of treatment. So even if you can come up with a really good intervention, sometimes the person is still pretty sick.
Dr. Loebner adds people with liver cancer often don't show symptoms, which makes it hard to detect early on. Factors like obesity and alcohol can contribute to someone's risk, and those rates have gone up, not down in recent years. Coming up in the next half hour of News 3 This Morning Sunday, we'll share more of Bill's story and what it took to survive this kind of cancer. It will be another tough test for the Green Bay Packers tonight as they face off with the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. The team will have a bit of a new look after trading Ty Montgomery and HaHa Clinton-Dix earlier this week. Aaron Jones will likely take on a bigger role in offense with Montgomery gone, and Tremont Williams will help replace Clinton-Dix in the secondary. The Packers will go into tonight's game with a record of 3-3-1 after last week's loss in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, New England is 6-2 and a perfect 4-0 at home this year. Just about 6:42 on this Sunday morning, and it's definitely going to be a good day to stay inside. Here's a live look over the Capitol this morning. Very rainy, very dreary to start us off, but hey, it's a good morning. We got an extra hour of sleep. Hopefully you remember to turn that clock back. Chris is going to time more rain chances going into Election Day in his first alert forecast. And it is cleanup time. Just as the last leaves begin to fall and your carved pumpkins turn to mush, the city is lending a helping hand. How to find out when workers will be stopping in your neighborhood on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
Well, good rainy Sunday morning to all of you guys out there. We are live on the patio where the rain is certainly coming down this morning. Let's go ahead and jump over to Doppler track so we can show you the rain that we've been tracking. A lot of the heaviest rainfall has been over the western half of the state this morning. We're going to watch that spread eastward in time. Across the northern half of the state, that is where we are actively tracking some accumulating snow at that is falling at the moment. Let me go ahead and move that hood back there. But still, more and more rain coming in from the south and west. We're going to be watching that all morning long as that heavy rain really just streams into Wisconsin as we go through the next several hours. That's also going to be coming with increasing wind speed. So here we are hour by hour. By 11 o'clock, you'll notice more rain throughout the area. It will take until about 7 o'clock tonight before we finally get a lot of that rain to wind down. But even still, we'll see showers through 10 o'clock and in through the early morning hours tomorrow. Wind speeds are going to be kicking up. In fact, here we are towards late morning, early afternoon. That's where we could see a lot of those winds sustained upwards of 19 to 20 miles per hour. Some of those winds could gust up to 35 and 40 miles per hour. So it's going to be another windy day. A lot of those leaves are going to be coming off the trees, and the leaves that were in piles yesterday will be blown across the road. But here we are towards tomorrow morning. You'll notice those winds will begin to die down as that system leaves. We're still expecting rain for your Election Day Tuesday. The good news is the rain does not look as heavy, and some of that wind energy looks to be more towards the south. That's where we could see severe weather across parts of the Ohio Valley and Tennessee Valley. Then comes our push of cold air. We're going to be watching that one into the weekend, and it does look like a pretty intense push of cold air that's going to settle in right over the upper Midwest and Great Lakes region. We're talking days with highs maybe in the upper 20s and low 30s with morning lows in the teens. We'll have a secondary push of colder air coming in towards this time next week, though it won't be as cold. The thing is, each of those pushes of cold air will have the potential to have a wave of low pressure that'll at least bring chances for some snow. One of those comes into early Friday. Then we'll have a quiet Saturday before another chance of snow into your forecast on Sunday. And that's what we do have over the next 7 to 10 days, Thursday night into Friday, watching that snow chance. And then, of course, on Sunday, each of those does look to be light snow, though. So we're not expecting any major snowstorms anytime soon. The biggest story in the meantime, though, will be the wind and the rain today. The wet weather on Monday, along with wind and rain on Tuesday, which is an alert day just because it's Election Day there.
We couldn't see your eyes there for a second with your hood, with the shadow. You look like the Grim Reaper.
I know. I'm trying to, protect myself here right now. But, yeah, just trying to make sure I don't get too wet while I'm out here. But, yeah.
We don't want that. All right,
absolutely.
Chris, come on back in.
Sounds good.
If you're trying to get rid of some of your old pumpkins or clean up your yard this weekend, we've got a reminder from the city about pickup. Crews are still going around in some Madison neighborhoods collecting your leaves and yard waste this fall. That includes weeds, yard trimmings, and any leftover Halloween gourds. You're asked to separate that stuff from any brush, as branches and other big tree clippings won't be picked up. Some areas have already wrapped up the fall pickup. You can check the schedule for your neighborhood on the City of Madison's website. Right now, the city is asking for your help to clean up some local beaches today. The beaches are still covered in trash and debris from this summer's historic flooding. Cleanup efforts start at noon and go until 2, rain or shine, we're told. Old Brook Park, Astor Beach, and Bernie's Beach still need volunteers to help with the trash pickup, raking, weeding, and debris removal. You don't need to register, but you are encouraged to bring your own tools. City of Madison will continue collecting sandbags through Thanksgiving weekend. Street crews started that curbside pickup on Monday. You're looking at video from the city showing the recycling process. You can keep those sandbags for future flooding, but the city is asking people to take them off your property and store them for the winter. 6:49 is your time. Still ahead this morning, a close-knit Wisconsin farming community is coming together after losing one of their own. How the people of Sauk Prairie did something good this week, turning out for one final harvest full of a lot more than just food. That story just ahead on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning. We are tracking a lot of rainfall across the area, especially over the western half of Wisconsin. You work your way up towards the north. That is where snow is falling. It is accumulating snow at that, as they could see 2 to 4 inches of snow before that all transitions over to rain for them. But we're going to be socked in with the wind and the rain all day long. Temperatures will be in the 40s as well. 44 degrees is that temperature right now. Winds sustained out of the east at 13 miles per hour. The winds are going to be picking up throughout the day, though. That means even more leaves are going to be coming down, and ultimately it's just going to be one of those nasty Sundays. I do think we'll see highs right around 50 degrees, though. Be prepared for the rain and the wind all throughout the morning and into the early afternoon. We will begin to see things begin to decrease, but that'll be after sunset this evening. Josh?
All right, Chris, thank you. 6:53 is your time this Sunday morning. Sauk Prairie is a close-knit farming community. So when Mike Lindloff died unexpectedly a little more than 2 weeks ago in a farming accident, the community stepped up to help. Charlotte Deleste shows us how the villages have come together to do something good for Mike's final harvest.
Harvest time, I think it was his favorite time of the year. Mike would always be the one going to help people, never thinking he'd be on the receiving end of it.
The township of Pertisac has a lot of farms in it, and they're all close people. Everybody knows everybody.
I saw Mike an hour before he was killed, and that's just it.
You know, he put his life into working the farm, and it was everything to him.
120 acres of beans and about 230, 40 acres of corn we're going to take off today.
Well, there was a lot of fear about how we were going to get all the work done.
We'll have 6 combines running.
Harvest time is real time sensitive, about trying to get stuff in before all the snow comes.
So I just went and talked to some people and asked for volunteers, and everybody just says, yeah, great, they do it.
Everybody liked Mike.
So the neighbors all come in and says, I'll volunteer a day or half a day, whatever it takes to get the beans that are ready to go and the corn that's ready to go off.
Oh, I cried. And just, it was amazing to think how much these people cared for Mike, that they wanted to help like this.
Yeah, he was just like a son, because he'd be there to help you no matter what.
He was a good guy. He was just an all-around, really good guy that loved his family, loved his friends, his community, loved farming. I think he would feel that it was absolutely amazing and wish that he could be part of doing the work.
The people in the fields today are lifelong friends. So for this is an emotional journey for them as well, knowing that they're harvesting the crops that Mike put in the ground.
When you got something like this, everybody just goes. They never ask questions. They all go, and whatever has to be done today, tomorrow, or whatever it is, we'll be there.
Thank you to the Sauk Prairie FFA for helping organize the day, Culver's for providing lunch, and all of the farmers, friends, and family who have helped Mike's family get all of those chores done and then some. If you know of someone or a business or an organization doing something good that you would think would make a wonderful story, please let us know. You can fill out a nomination form at channel3000.com/do-something-good. 6:56 this Sunday morning, and still ahead on News 3 this morning Sunday, the last-minute Get Out the Vote efforts by Scott Walker and Tony Evers. But first, here's a preview of what's to come this morning on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Neil Heinen. Today on For the Record, we will hear from the candidates for U.S. Senate and Governor in advance of Tuesday's election. The interviews come from profiles of the candidates done by WISC News reporters, although Governor Walker declined our invitation to be interviewed. And I'll talk with Assistant News Director and Chief Political Reporter Jessica Arp about Tuesday's election. That's coming up this morning at 10:30 on WISC-TV.
The mortality rate for liver cancer is increasing at a faster rate than any other cancer. But just ahead, a story of survival. Hear from a local man and what he says it took to survive.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
And good Sunday morning. Welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday. It is 7 a.m. on this November 4th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking those rain chances today, but first let's get you caught up on today's headlines. We are expecting to learn more about a deadly hit-and-run crash in western Wisconsin later today. A 21-year-old man is accused of killing 3 Girl Scouts and a woman picking up trash in a ditch in Lake Hallie. That's just south of Chippewa Falls. Officers did not say what caused him to veer off the road and hit the group. Another girl who was also hit and was in critical condition as of last night. A relative of one of the Girl Scouts who was not hurt during the crash says all of the Scouts were wearing bright safety vests and were with several adults at the time. You can now register to enroll in the healthcare marketplace. The United Way of Dane County is helping people get insured as the open enrollment period has begun. In an effort to get those people covered, they're again offering their Health Connect program, which helps cover the costs of monthly premium payments. To qualify, people have to have a household income between about $12,000 and $18,000 for single people, and between $25,000 and $37,000 for a family of 4. Open enrollment runs through December 15th for coverage starting with the new year. You can look up plans and prices online at healthcare.gov. Starting tomorrow, you can place your orders for Thanksgiving pies and dinner rolls from the UW-Madison Dining and Culinary Services ahead of Thanksgiving. This year, you can choose from apple, pumpkin, and pecan pies ranging from $10 to $12 and a dozen dinner rolls for just under $5. To place an order, you can call the number right there on your screen. That's 608-262-0057. Orders must be placed by November 16th and picked up on the 20th or 21st at the Gordon Dining Center. It'll be another tough test for the Green Bay Packers tonight as they face off with the New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football. The team will have a bit of a new look after trading Ty Montgomery and HaHa Clinton-Dix earlier this week. Aaron Jones will likely take on a bigger role in the offense with Montgomery gone, and Tramon Williams will help replace Clinton-Dix in the secondary. The Packers will go into tonight's game with a record of 3-3-1 after last week's loss in L.A. Meanwhile, New England is 6-2 and a perfect 4-0 at home this year. 7:03 is your time right now, and Chris is back in, drying out from all of that rain.
That's right. We've got a lot more rain as we go throughout the morning. We've been tracking this all the way back towards the south and west since last night. That's only going to continue to increase as we go throughout the day. You are noticing snow across the northern half of Wisconsin. That is accumulating snow at that same area under winter weather advisories. Folks, they could see 2 to 4 inches of snow before that actually transitions over to rain for those guys. Temperatures up there right around the freezing mark, 32 in Stevens Point. We are warmer here across the southern half of the state. That's where the warmer air is as it works its way towards the north. But it's going to look like that all day long outside. Gray skies, a lot of wind as well, continuing to increase now to the east at 14 miles per hour. Expect them to be sustained upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour by the time we get you through late morning and into the afternoon. Temperature-wise, we'll go towards about 46 by lunchtime. Widespread rain and very windy as well by the afternoon. Temperatures will be right around 50 degrees, and we will stay breezy. We're not getting rid of any of this rainfall until we get you past sunset tonight. Roads will be wet as well as you head out to go wherever you are headed to on your Sunday morning. So far, though, there are no issues around the city of Madison. Hopefully, we can keep it that way today. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:04 this morning with just 2 days to go. Candidates running for governor of Wisconsin are trying to win over voters before Election Day. Democratic candidate Tony Evers plans to visit Racine, Kenosha, and Milwaukee today. Yesterday, he was in the central part of the state. He held a rally in Appleton where he highlighted the major difference between himself and his opponent, Governor Scott Walker.
People that he chose to be in his cabinet, he vetted them, and they were doing work for him, and they came out within the last couple of weeks saying, A, this man has no integrity, he's unfit for office, he lies, and most importantly, all those things are bad, but he puts his own political ambitions ahead of the people of Wisconsin.
Evers also had stops in Fond du Lac and Plymouth yesterday. Governor Walker is also making his way around the state this weekend. Yesterday, he spent some time in Platteville. While there, he said Wisconsin residents will be covered by insurance even if they have a pre-existing condition. He also talked about job creation.
This state was messed up 8 years ago. Massive. I mean, we had double-digit tax increases. We had billion-dollar budget deficits. We had record job loss in the state. We don't want to go back to those days. We can't afford to turn back now.
Governor Walker ended his time in Hudson yesterday with Vice President Mike Pence. A reminder to make News 3 your election night destination for the fastest numbers and best analysis. At 7 p.m. here on WISC, CBS News national coverage will begin with Who Will Control Congress. We'll break in with live local updates all night on WISC. Then at 8 p.m. you can watch continuous live local uninterrupted coverage on our digital platforms, Channel 3000, Facebook, and YouTube. At 9 p.m. our local coverage will be available on Fox 47. And then again at 10 p.m. join us on WISC for election night coverage you can count on to be fast and accurate.
It's still going up, and I think with obesity and alcohol use being still quite prevalent, I don't know when it's going to peak. That's the big worry.
Unlike other types of cancer, the survival rate for liver cancer is getting worse, not better. It's slow-moving and often asymptomatic. More than 6,000 Wisconsinites diagnosed with the disease have died throughout the past 20 years. But there can be life after liver cancer, as only News 3's Danica Lewis found out that really takes a team.
There are a lot of unknowns in baseball. You don't know what pitch is next, when a grounder's going to come your way, or when the wind. Like jersey rippling, hang on to your helmet, roster waving, camera shaking wind will whip around a pop fly. The unknown is part of the game.
What's he going to see? Is he going to see them grow up?
And unknown is what sisters Alyssa Lawton-Teague and Trisha Dodd know well.
You know, what's the quality of life that he's going to have when they're young.
Trisha and Alyssa were both pregnant with their first in 2010. Trisha with her son Oliver, the year their dad was first diagnosed with liver cancer.
Whoa, like this is scary and serious because the numbers are so high in terms of mortalities. If I were betting, I wouldn't have bet where we ended up. Yeah. And I'm glad I didn't bet.
Yeah, right?
I didn't think I'd be here. I mean, it's that simple.
Good pitch, good pitch.
But for Bill Lawton,
attaboy, that's better.
Getting here was anything but simple.
You know, you got cancer. It's a tough word. I mean, and of course, the first thing you think is you're not going to survive it.
Way to hustle, Oliver.
Just like that, Bill had a team behind him.
Way to go, Oliver.
Every appointment, every big treatment decision, the girls were there.
You know, so we were just kind of those people for him.
Both girls are pregnant with their first child. You got to give it your best.
We fulfill different roles.
We definitely fulfill different roles.
That was probably the best medicine I had. No question about it.
You need that support. I don't know how you would do it without that.
You can feel it. You can literally feel it.
Good eye.
You just don't realize it till you need it, I guess.
There you go.
And believe me, you need it.
After removing part of his liver and multiple surgeries to keep the tumors at bay, Bill made some changes. He started eating better and working out. For years, MRIs were coming back clear.
The most gut-wrenching thing I had was when they said it came back.
The second time, it just kept popping up. That felt scarier. Especially because at first the transplant wasn't an option.
Eventually, a transplant became the only option if Bill ever wanted to be cancer-free.
So yeah, I mean, I was planning a wedding, and he was on the transplant list.
Bill's family, his doctors, his team came through again.
Once I got called for the transplant, I never had a doubt that everything was gonna be all right.
A week later,
he rebounded like a champ.
Bill walked Alyssa down the aisle. 5 years later, and now 74 years old, Bill never found out who his donor was, but he thinks about that person every time he steps on the treadmill, thankful for their team and what they did for his.
It changes your outlook on life. It's you got a second chance. Actually, I've had a third chance, you know.
Bill grew up around baseball and softball diamonds.
Now I get to see a lot of baseball again. Yeah.
You know, of course, around Portage, the news travels so fast.
Now Bill drives the hour from Portage to be at every game, every dance recital, every pickup Alyssa and Trisha need help with.
It's just emotional. I see them, and
Good pitch, Oliver.
I just can't imagine life without them, you know, and not being here.
It's really windy outside.
Yeah. At least it's not raining.
I think it's as simple as you have something, you realize what's important.
Good hit. Good hit.
You realize where your priorities should lie.
Just like working on your swing or your fastball.
And you gotta have drive. I mean, you gotta want to get better.
Sure, that's true.
Atta boy.
One more, buddy.
But to really win, you need a good team behind you.
All right, good inning.
And no one knows that
Good inning.
better than Bill.
It's a life-changing experience for everybody or your whole family, and I'm so appreciative. Good job. Proud of you, buddy. Life's good.
In Verona, Danica Lewis, WISC News 3.
An incredible story there. Bill was only diagnosed because his primary care doctor noticed some abnormalities in a routine blood test. She encouraged him to get more testing, which led to him catching the liver cancer early enough to treat it, possibly saving his life. 11 minutes past 7 right now, and it's going to be a rainy Sunday with wet weather going into much of this week. Here's a live look outside right now. Can't really even see the Capitol right there. Today isn't an alert day, but we are expecting one on a big day this week. Chris is in next to time it all out in his forecast only on News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Well, the rain has lightened up just a little bit here in the backyard, but we still have a lot more rain to go as we go throughout your morning and really into the afternoon. We're going to be tracking a lot of wind as well. Let's jump on over to Doppler track right now so we can see the latest and what is going on. There's that brief break that we actually do have in Madison, but a lot of rain across the south and western half of the state. Snow in about the northern third of the state, and that's a heavy, wet snow coming down for them. We work our way back towards the south and west, and we do see even more rain. All of that, folks, is going to be streaming in as we go through the next several hours, which means it's going to be another one of those wet days. Here we are as we go throughout the morning. More and more rainfall around here, along with gusty winds. It's going to take until the evening to truly get any of that rainfall out of the picture, but even still, we'll see light showers and sprinkles through about early Monday morning. Let's go ahead and talk about the wind. Winds are going to be increasing, eventually sustained right around 20 to 25 miles per hour or so. Some folks, especially closer towards the lakeshore, will see sustained winds upwards of 30 miles per hour. Wind gusts, however, will be upwards to 30 and 40 miles per hour for a lot of folks today. The winds will eventually relax this afternoon, but that system pulls away, and then we have another system coming in on Tuesday. That system, though, looking a little bit weaker in the wind and rain department, which is good news. The reason for that, though, is we're expecting severe weather across parts of Kentucky, oddly enough, that could rob the system of a lot of that energy that could come up our way. So we're going to be watching that closely. And here we go. The rain is picking up once again. We'll have another round of colder air that moves on in towards the weekend. I do think this could be the first true Arctic blast of the season with some pretty cold temperatures behind it. We'll have a reinforcing shot of some cooler air that works its way on in towards Sunday as well. Each of those shots of colder air does have a chance for a wave of low pressure to develop along it. Here we are Thursday night into Friday. This particular model indicating the possibility of some snowfall that could go into Friday morning. All the models, though, also indicating a wave of low pressure with the cold front this time next week, bringing a round of light snow. And of course, we're going to be watching all of those. The way it looks as of now, either we get the rounds of light snow or we're even colder with highs in the low 20s. So we'll see how things all play out. It's a trade-off. For now, though, we will go with the chance for snow into the weekend with temperatures in the 30s, along with that chance for snow on Sunday. Heavy rain, though, today and then again on Tuesday, which is an alert day because it's election day, and we could be seeing a lot of wind and rain that day. In the meantime, I guess I've got to get out of this rain. We've got some thunder going on, and the rain is starting to pick up as we speak. Here we go. It's going to be one of those busy days, but I'm excited.
All right, Chris, we know you like to have those active forecasts.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
All right, come on in, buddy.
All right, see you.
7:18 is your time right now. A new study finds a significant increase in the number of children seeking emergency care for mental health issues. And an 11-year-old girl is now a published author, sharing the challenges of her health battle in a new book, hoping her story will give hope to the 3 million other Americans living with her condition. The news is back on News 3 This Morning, Sunday.
All right, we're going to do a quick radar update. If you were watching, you know I just mentioned the rain picking up along with some thunder here on the west side of Madison. So we're going to go ahead and zoom things on in to where we are at right now, just so that you all can get a look on some of that heavier rain. So essentially, if you were anywhere right around the Raymond Road, Gammon Road area throughout Mineral Point towards Odana, back over towards South Pleasant View Road, that is where one of those heavier showers is working its way on into the west side of Madison right now. Also just north of Verona, we're getting in on one of those heavier showers, and we are going to see more and more of those going throughout your day. It's going to take us into the overnight hours to really get rid of a lot of that heavy rain. So it is a busy day ahead that we are expecting, along with a lot of wind. I'll be sure to break down all of the latest coming up in the next main weather segment. Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you. 7:22 right now. On the Health Watch this morning, it is November, and health officials are urging all Americans over 6 months old to get a flu shot now. It takes about 2 weeks for the maximum protection to develop. Flu activity is expected to pick up this month. Last season, nearly 80,000 Americans died from the virus. That's the highest number since modern tracking began. A new study finds a significant increase in the number of children and adolescents seeking emergency care for mental health issues. In 2012, about 50 out of every 100,000 ER visits by children were related to mental health. 4 years later, that number shot up to nearly 80 per 100,000. That's according to researchers at the Children's National Health System. New findings show babies of older fathers are less likely to be healthy at birth. Researchers at Stanford University looked at more than 40 million births in the U.S. They found newborns with older fathers that were more or older than 45 were 14% more likely to be born premature, way less than require a stay in a neonatal intensive care unit compared to those babies with fathers 25 to 34 years old. At least 3 million Americans are living with celiac disease. 97% of them are undiagnosed. One 11-year-old has had the disease since she was a toddler, now sharing her story in hopes of helping others. Karen Morfitt has her story.
After more than a year of hard work, it's official. This 11-year-old is an author, and her motivation, helping others.
Cecilia, the celiac superhero.
The main character in this children's book, like many, is made up.
Written and illustrated by Lillian Bordoni.
But the story is real, and there is a superhero.
We started with writing the whole story, so my book is my story.
I tell people it's not an allergy, but it's a intolerance to wheat or wheat products.
Lillian met with Dr. Edward Hoffenberger at Children's Hospital. He found it was her environment, in addition to her diet, that was impacting her health. And as she says, he saved her life.
He's my best friend.
He also challenged her to write a book about her fight.
She learned that she would need to defeat the notorious evil villain named gluten in order to conquer her disease.
I challenged a lot of people to it before, and no one had ever done it.
It's about Cecilia, which is this girl here, and she has to beat gluten and cross-contamination, which I had to beat too. But I turned it into a superhero story, so it would be fun and interesting for all kids.
Dr. Hoffenberger thought it was so good she should share it with others. Lillian agreed. Fast forward 1 year later, and she's a published author.
I hope that this will tell them that they can do it and they don't have to feel alone.
While she hopes her words will be the biggest support for other families, she's also donating the money she makes from her book back to the hospital.
Because I want celiac disease to be more understood.
A bright mind there. 7:25 is your time. The first ever blood test for autism developed by a Madison company is now available, but only to a limited basis to doctors and parents. The State Journal reports a physician has to order the blood sample to be taken at a local lab, then shipped to NeuroPoint DX in Madison for testing. Because of strict shipping requirements, the company is still working to select labs that are qualified to take the samples. They're also working to get insurance companies to cover the cost. That would be $750 out of pocket. The test can identify biomarkers that researchers say that 30% of children on the autism spectrum share. If a child tests positive, it's a sign they should be evaluated by a specialist. 7:26 this morning, and still ahead this morning with the race for governor down to the wire, and Walker and Evers in a statistical tie. The candidates are making their last attempts to win your vote, while they're spending their final weekend on the campaign trail. This is News 3 This Morning, Sunday. We'll be right back. Right now, the Packers take the national stage for a Sunday night football showdown against one of the toughest teams in the country. But will they get their first road win of the season? We have your 3 things to watch.
This is News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning Sunday, just about 7:30 on this November 4th. I'm Josh Breiter. Chris is tracking the latest on those rain and thunderstorms this morning, but first, here's what's happening right now. Candidates running for Wisconsin governor are making a last-minute push to win over voters before Election Day Tuesday. Democrat candidate Tony Evers plans to visit Racine, Kenosha, and Milwaukee today. He was in Appleton yesterday talking about education, which he says he's better fit to tackle because he spent much of his career as an educator. Governor Walker is also spending his weekend campaigning. He spent Saturday afternoon at a rally in western Wisconsin with Vice President Mike Pence. The two talked about their fight to keep pre-existing conditions while reforming health care. A Wisconsin group is working to make sure people sign up and understand their health insurance policies. Enrollment for the Affordable Care Act is now underway. People have until the middle of December to pick an insurance plan for 2019. Covering Wisconsin is holding special Saturday enrollment events from now until December 8th. Right now, crews are still going around in some Madison neighborhoods collecting your leaves and yard waste this fall. That includes weeds, yard trimmings, and any leftover Halloween gourds. You're asked to separate that stuff from any brush, as branches and other big tree clippings won't be picked up. Some areas have already wrapped up that fall pickup. You can check for yourself for your neighborhood on the City of Madison's website. And Madison crews will continue collecting those used sandbags through Thanksgiving weekend. The city actually started that curbside pickup this week. You're looking at video from them showing the recycling process there. You can keep those sandbags for future flooding, but the city is asking people to take them off their properties and store them for the winter. 7:31, we'll send it over to meteorologist Chris Reese, who's tracking some more rainfall and hopefully no more flooding out there, Chris.
Hopefully not, although with the amount of rainfall that we are expecting, it is very possible that we could see some of those rivers go into minor flood stage again. It's something that the National Weather Service has been communicating to all of the area meteorologists, and we'll keep a close watch on that. Here's the heaviest rain right now across the south and western half of Wisconsin this morning. That is where the heaviest rain is going to stay initially before that begins to work its way eastward as we go through the day. Lots of snow up north. That will be staying up north. The thing is, it's accumulating snow for those folks. So anywhere from 2 to 4 inches will be noted across the northwestern tier of Wisconsin going throughout the day. Temperatures at 32 right at Stevens Point, then staying in the 30s from there, coming to the 40s as we work our way down to the southern half of the state today. But we're going to be seeing a lot of cloudy skies, a lot of rain chances going throughout the day, along with those strong wind gusts coming into the picture. Of course, we are at 45 degrees right now. Winds out of the east at 14 miles per hour. We're going to see those winds crank up to 15 to 25. Temperatures will rise up to about 46 as we head into your lunchtime hours, but we've got warm air coming into the picture, and so I still think we'll see highs making it into the low 50s for a lot of us, but we're going to be staying wet and breezy all day long, so make sure that you take it easy as you head out on the roads. They are wet this morning. So far, though, we don't have any issues. That's how we like to keep it as we head into your Sunday, Josh.
All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
You can help restore some of the beaches in Madison today. They are still covered in trash and debris from this summer's historic flooding. City leaders are asking volunteers to help remove these items. Work will start at noon, running for 2 hours, rain or shine.
You don't know how much people care until you start hearing about it. So, you know, whether they've called or they've emailed, they've expressed like, hey, you know, is there anything I can do? I'll get out there and do it.
Organizers say that Old Brick Park, Esther Beach, and Bernie's Beach still need volunteers. There's no registration necessary, but volunteers are encouraged to bring their own tools. Now is the time to start preparing your car for winter road conditions. Auto Club at Madison College was helping drivers get ready for a free car clinic on Saturday. Organizers emphasize the importance of that tire care. Having proper tire pressure and tread wear can help prevent loss of traction in icy conditions. But overall, maintaining all elements of your car is the key to winter safety.
When winter comes on, and we're less likely to pop a hood and check our oil because it's cold out and things like that. But we need to always make sure we're on the road safely, because, you know, a lot of people are on the road at the same time.
Topping off fluids and getting new wipers can also make a big difference on your car during the winter. The Packers are hoping for their first road win of the season. They're in Boston facing off against Tom Brady and the Patriots. Coming off a tough loss last week in LA, fans are hoping the team will be able to turn things around. Players and coaches are too. Our Kevin Lewis breaks down your 3 things to watch for during tonight's primetime showdown.
Thing 1, the first game after trading one of their best defensive players means you'll see what the Packers defense looks like now. Clinton Dix leaves a big hole, but head coach Mike McCarthy says that creates opportunities for other players. We'll see if those opportunities come when the defense is playing downhill or chasing Patriots players around the field. Road woes. Great teams win on the road. The Packers have yet to do that this season, falling short at Washington, Detroit, and Los Angeles. The Packers sit at 3rd in the NFC North. Their road schedule doesn't slow down with games at Seattle in 2 weeks and Minnesota on the 25th. James White was a soft-spoken guy when he played at Wisconsin. You wouldn't know if he were in the room right now, but he's been the Patriots' best weapon this season on offense. He leads the team in receptions, receiving yards, and total touchdowns. Sunday Night Football, Packers and Patriots, 7:20 kickoff on another network. The Packers are 3-3-1 overall. The Patriots 6-2 and winners of 5 straight. Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady have only squared off one other time. The Packers won in 2014 at Lambeau. Enjoy the rest of your NFL Sunday.
As always, we'll have highlights, time permitting, right here on News 3 at 10 and the very latest tomorrow during News 3 this morning. Time right now is 7:36 this morning. The holiday baking season is here, and if you want to get ahead of things, we're here to help this morning. Chef Mandy is here with a few tips to help make your dessert the star of the party. Her cooking lesson is just ahead on News 3 This Morning Sunday. And welcome back. November isn't just for turkey gravy and mashed potatoes. It's the beginning of the baking season, and here in America, 50 million pumpkin pies are baked every year. Holy cow. Chef Mandy Cullen joins us this morning with a new take on an old classic. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. As Josh said, I'm Mandy from Nourishment. So although Halloween is done, it's still pumpkin season. We can still have pumpkin and festivities around. So today we're going to make a recipe that's perfect for holiday baking. We're going to do a pumpkin cheesecake.
Ooh.
And we're going to use Wholly Wholesome pie crust. So I have to talk about them. They are like, I cook for a lot of people who have dietary sensitivities, and so these guys have ready-made gluten-free pie shells. So that makes baking super, super simple. You can find them at Hy-Vee, Whole Foods, even at Woodman's, I believe they have them there. So
we're all about easy, right?
It's so simple. It's like a huge shortcut when you're worrying about getting stuff together and the holidays can get chaotic. This is a huge time saver. So it's super straightforward. Should we get started?
Let's do it. I'm going to start cutting this one, otherwise we'll run out of time at the end.
Help yourself. Yeah, help yourself. So we have one made here. It turns out pretty well, and it's really nice to have this already going. So we have, I just started a little bit of cream cheese, just kind of make it a little bit easier. You want to soften the cream cheese and also make sure you have your eggs at room temp. It just helps everything kind of combine a little bit easier. So we have some softened cream cheese. I always use, if I can make a healthier shortcut, I do. So I have third less fat cream cheese here. And then also a can of sweetened condensed milk. Again, if I can make it a little less naughty, I do. So I've used fat-free here. And so we want to get those really nice and smooth, and then it's so simple to put together. So we add a can of pumpkin, which is about 2 cups. If you want to use a little bit more, you can, but really you don't need any more than a can. We have 3 whole eggs, and I always crack them into a separate bowl because you don't want to lose a shell in there. And then just a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice. You can make that at home if you want. Otherwise, it's really simple enough to purchase from the store, and it, you know, it's 4 simple ingredients if you want to make it at home, but you can buy it at the store.
Now, is this one of those recipes you want to try and stick to all the guidelines, or do you kind of add your own things in it, or what would you recommend?
If people want to add something different, I make a really yummy pumpkin cheesecake that has a little bit of chocolate in it too. So feel free to go crazy with it if you want. But yeah, we're just going to mix it up. It really comes into a nice smooth consistency. We're going to pour it in here, and you're going to have so the Wholly Wholesome crusts come with 2 crusts in 1 container. So this is enough for 2 crusts. You're going to put them into a 350-degree oven. I always put it on a foil-lined baking sheet just in case anything kind of tumbles over, saves your oven from, you know, smelling all burnt. But yeah, it's really super simple. Bake it for 45 minutes, and then of course you can serve it. I have a little non-dairy almond milk ready whip there for you, so you give.
You know, it's that time of the year where you're just ready to eat, right?
Yeah, it's pie season, right? How is it?
My gosh, that's excellent.
Right? It's so good. Yeah, you can serve it warm. I actually enjoy my pumpkin pie cold, which is kind of odd. But obviously, serve it warm, serve it cold, however you like. Like I said, you can find Wholly Wholesome at Hy-Vee, Whole Foods, and of course, Woodman's. And they are available. More information, they have all their products online at whollyWholesome.com.
Truly the best time of the year, right?
Yeah, right. I love it.
Well, if people are interested in reaching out to you, how can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at nourishmentpc.com. Otherwise, on Facebook or Instagram at nourishmentpc.
All right, 2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah,
we'll get the rest of the staff here at
Yes,
peace as
hopefully
well.
everyone can enjoy it.
All right, thanks so much and enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too.
Well, we got an extra hour of sleep last night, but if you're still waking up a little groggy, the relentless rain probably isn't helping you out. Krista tracking a day full of showers, your election day forecast, and a look ahead at the work week. That's next. But first, if you have a kiddo turning 3 years old soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 This Morning Sunday.
Look who's
We're still tracking more rain as we go throughout the morning. This is going to be the story as we go throughout the entire day. Over the past 3 hours, we have seen more and more of those showers work their way, especially into the western half of the area. Right now, Madison itself in on a little bit of a break, but as you go out to the western part of Dane County, Mount Horeb getting in on the rain right now, up through parts of Black Earth and Mazomanie, all getting in on some of that rain that's moving into the area. Gradually, this will spread to the east as we go through time. There's a lot more rain all the way back from the southwest. It's working its way towards the north and northeast through the day. Snow across the northern half of the state. That's going to be increasing for our friends up there and likely even putting some snow on the ground for them. We put this into motion over the next 3 hours, and here comes more and more of that rain. You're going to notice that increasing from the south, southwest, and the southeast. Really, the entire southern sky will be increasing with the rain chances going throughout the morning. By 11 o'clock, widespread rain for all of us. There's no one who will be dry at that point. Essentially, that'll continue as we go into the afternoon. Here we are at 8:30, finally getting some of that rainfall out of here, but we're going to be lingering with those showers into the overnight hours as well. So umbrellas, they're your best friend today. Maybe even a poncho. It's going to be windy as well, so that's not necessarily in favor for the umbrellas. Sustained winds anywhere from about 15 to 25 miles per hour. The farther east you are, the higher those sustained winds will be. Here we are right around 3 o'clock. Our futurecast model showing sustained winds upwards of 21 miles per hour. But into the overnight hours, those winds will begin to decrease, so that's good news. For Election Day, we're watching the next system coming into the picture. It still looks to be a rainy and windy day. Thankfully, not as rainy and not as windy. The system's trending a little bit weaker and just a little bit faster, which is good news. But that push of colder air does come on in behind that, and boy, it is quite impressive for this time of the year. I'm really pretty much convinced that this will be our first push of Arctic air of the season. We'll have to watch the leading edge of that, though, along with the reinforcing shot that comes in by next weekend. Each of those has the possibility of a weak wave of low pressure along that. So check out Thursday night through Friday morning. That brings in a possibility of some light snow. Then another possibility of some light snow as we go into Sunday morning or Sunday night into your Monday morning next week. Of course, it's a very active pattern. We have plenty of time to figure out the details. We've got to get through the systems we have going on right now and on Tuesday first before we can focus on those. But we're going to be watching them, and whether or not it snows, folks, it's going to be cold. And if it doesn't snow, well, that's probably because it's going to be colder with that push of colder air. So we'll be watching it. Hello, Quilson. How are you? He's looking at the camera the way I'm looking at the computer models right now, showing all that cold. So, yeah, it's that time of the year where things get very interesting and active for the weather team, and of course we're going to be watching it.
And then there's me just scarfing down my face. Breakfast here. So.
Yeah, that is breakfast. It's okay. You deserve it.
We've got some over there for you as well. Right. So, all right. Time right now is 7:49 this morning. Be sure to stick with News 3 and Channel 3000 today on our news at 5:30 and 10. We're catching up with some last-minute canvassers working to get out the vote in hopes of bringing a record number of people to the polls this Tuesday. But first, best costume ever. The Halloween holiday has come and gone, but for one Midwestern family and an unsuspecting little girl, this year was simply unforgettable. News 3 This Morning Sunday will return in a moment. Finally this morning, people are figuring out what to do with their Halloween costumes now that the holiday has come and gone. But this year's trick-or-treating was one to remember for one dad and his daughter, and another little girl hoping for a happy holiday too.
What was most amazing, however, wasn't the costume, but rather the story behind it. Cassidy Williams has more.
Like many others, Joe O'Reilly spends weekends working in his garage. But the car he's fixing up is made of foam and PVC pipe.
I guess this has always been there. This has always just been something that I've loved to do.
He's building a Halloween costume. A life-size gecko-mobile from the kid show PJ Masks. Joe is a volunteer with Magic Wheelchair. It's a nonprofit that builds one-of-a-kind costumes.
We want people to see the costume and the kid rather than the wheelchair.
Joe's daughter Madeline showed him what a costume can do. He built a Batmobile around her wheelchair a few years ago.
Just that 20, 30 minutes that we were out, you know, she was, you know, kind of the belle of the ball. So we just want to do that for everybody. So this is going to be the front bumper.
So this year he signed up to help another little girl, 7-year-old Ella from Elkhart. They started planning in August, but just a few weeks later, instead of sculpting foam, Joe found himself planning a funeral. On September 8th, his daughter Madeline died. She was only 6 years old. She died after battling complications from a brain injury for 5 of her 6 years.
You know, she was amazing, and you know, I miss her terribly still. You know, it hasn't been that long that she's passed. We don't know how long we're going to have them, and so we just want to make sure we do the most for them that we can. I mean, whether it's in a costume is just a small thing that, you know, but it makes a big difference.
After taking a few weeks off from building, Joe got back to work, determined to finish in time for Halloween.
I kind of had this feeling of, you know, what better way to honor her than to do everything I can to get this done. Because if it was Madeline, I would do it.
He got it done, ready early, just in time for downtown South Bend's trick-or-treat night.
Are you ready for some trick-or-treating?
Ella and her family getting their first look at the finished gecko-mobile. It got the Ella stamp of approval.
Let's get in, of course.
This one's supposed to be at the bottom. First, Ella puts on her power suit. Then the pieces of her costume each fit perfectly around the wheelchair. There's also room for her now look-alike. It's a costume that caught everybody's attention.
This is so freeing for her to be looked at, and it's a win. You know, it's like she's the cool kid.
As Joe watched his hard work captivate downtown, he says he knows Madeline would be proud.
We had just started building it right as Madeline got sick, and I didn't think we were going to pull it off. I would have always regretted it if we didn't do it.
Regret. It's not something either family believes in.
We live each day knowing that tomorrow is not promised, and we should all live that way. It's kind of a go big or go home philosophy for us. PJ Masks for the PJ Masks. Whoa, PJ Masks!
Joe did have some help from other volunteers to build that costume. A local company helped with the paint job and creating the power suit. What a great story there.
I love those beautiful stories. Almost a tearjerker there.
Yeah.
I know. Let's go ahead and dive into your forecast. We've got a lot of rain and wind coming in today. Temperatures will top out into the low 50s. By Tuesday, that's an alert day because it's election day, but also seeing a lot of wind and rain. A cold pattern shows up towards next weekend that will feature chances for snow as well.
All right, well, it is a bittersweet day here at News 3. It has been exactly 1 year since we started this show, the Weekend Morning Show. Well, today we're saying goodbye to our director, Chris Hepner. He helped us launch this show. You can see him with his hand up right there. Chris, thank you so much for your work on this show. You're moving a little closer to home, which will be better for you and your family. We wish you well, buddy. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.